When it comes to food processing, you really want to invest in a model that is very powerful, ideally, because as with a lot of the equipment, you do end up having compromised results when you have the cheaper models. This particular food processor is called the Cuisinart, which is a fairly well-known brand now. It's widely available in the UK and overseas. It is to food processing what the Vitamix is to blending, in that it is incredibly powerful. You have a really decent size here of container so that you can put in lots of ingredients, and it will handle very tough recipes. This is in fact the only food processor that I've used that actually will break down sprouted wheat berries, for example. One of my favourite recipes to make is my raw food pizza, and traditionally I found with other food processors that the berries just weren't breaking down, so it had a very thick base, whereas with this you can get it really, really smooth. So that's one of the great reasons to go for this. The other great reason is that it does have different settings. It has a pulse. Probably won't be one in the dough, but the pulse is very useful to use for things like making coleslaws and chopped salads, things like that. And there's lots of different blade attachments as well. Now, what it comprises of is a turn lid, and as with a lot of food processors, it does matter that this lid is put on properly. We also have the piece here which goes in the lid to block where the ingredients go down, and this part comes out as well. And if this part isn't in place, the food processor won't actually switch on. So it's good from a safety point of view. Then in here we have the traditional S blade, which is my blade of choice. As I say, it does come with a range of other attachments, but this is the one that I actually use. And then we have the bowl itself, which is pretty standard, but generally a bit bigger than the average one on the high street. So, why would we choose to go for a Cuisinart over other pieces of equipment? Well, like I say, it's all to do with the power, really. This one also has a nice look to it, which always helps. Comes in a range of different colours, for those of you who have a colour-coordinated kitchen. There are other good food processors out there on the market, but this is the one that I have bought and stuck with and have no reason to change. When it comes to using a food processor, often a lot of people say, well, what's the difference between a blender and a food processor? And essentially, generally, as a rule, when you have a blender, you're looking to do more liquidy type recipes. With a food processor, it's more dry ones. It doesn't mean you can't do both in either machine, but generally speaking, the food processor is for those recipes where you need a wider spin, it's not so runny, and you can get a good thick consistency. It can also handle a lot more than a blender generally. So that's the key distinctions, and this is the Cuisinart, and hopefully you found this information useful to you, because in time you will find that a food processor becomes one of the most important pieces of equipment in your kitchen. May not be the case at first, but as time goes by and you start to evolve and develop and get more creative, the food processor could actually become your new best friend.